There's an old rabbinic teaching that says that everybody should walk around with two pockets, and in one pocket we should have a note that reads, "I am dust and ashes," and in the second pocket another note which reads, "For me the universe was made." Dust and ashes. Most of us, I think, have been brought up in a world where we've been taught to exalt the second note, "For me the universe was made." Most of us have been brought up in a culture that encourages us to be anything we want to be. We can do anything. We are special. We are significant. We are important. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. And I guess in this time of Lent, this 6 weeks or so that we're in at the moment, what we're encouraged to do is spend a little bit of time living with the first note. I am dust and ashes. You see, I hear those words, and somehow they say to me that I'm not special, that I'm not significant, that I'm not important. And yet, something is important about those words. Scientists tell us that underneath this thing we call a face or a body, underneath we're all the same. All of us are made up of blood and bone and water. But even further than that, when we start to break the body down into its chemicals and particles, we discover that every human being is essentially exactly the same. And scientists have known that for a very long time. And what they've known for slightly less time is that when we look at the world around us, when we look at plants and animals and rocks and rivers, when we look at this entire planet we call Earth, actually when we break it all down, when we take it down to its chemical and particle parts, what we discover is that actually it's exactly the same as us as well. Everything is the same. And what scientists have discovered reasonably recently is that when we go beyond this planet, when we move out into the galaxies and the wider universe, and we start to look at all the planets and all the stars and all the moons and everything that is out there, actually when we break all of it down, it too is made up of exactly the same chemicals and particles that everything else is. And what scientists know now as well is that each and everything in the universe, all of it is made from the dust and ashes of dying stars. In their last final explosion, they scatter into a gazillion pieces right throughout the universe, and slowly they begin to attract one another and gather together, and as more and more of them gather together, they beginning to form a matter, and then a planet slowly takes shape, and over a long, long period of time, life begins again, and it's all made of dust and ashes. We are dust and ashes. And yes, in one way that means we're not special or significant or important, because if we're exactly the same as everything else around us, then we can't say to be any more special than each other. I'm no more special than you, you're no more special than me. But on the other hand, if everything is made of dust and ashes, then everything truly is one. And for all this, the universe was made. Indeed, for all this, the universe is made of it. And so for this short time, for this 6 weeks or so of Lent, we're invited to live with that first note and to think for a while about what it means to be dust and ashes. And as we do that, as we reflect on that, the second note begins to take on a whole new significance.